Shalom. How's everyone doing this Sunday evening? For those who don't know me, my name is Mr. Andrew Williams. I'm also known as the Prophet of War. Today, I have another message from Aniyah, my God, to give to the people, especially here in the United States of America, which is biblically known as Babylon. I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible, but if not, please bear with me. In other words, be patient. Last night, Aniyah did spoken unto me in both dreams and vision, all through the night and throughout the morning. As I woke up around 3 or 3:30 this morning, Aniyah was speaking to me what's going to happen in the near future, both in the last days, in these last days, and in time. In my previous video, I have spoken about how Aniyah is rising up his army, which is known as the 144,000. In this video, which is going to be a series, not really speaking about the 144,000, which is I am one of the 144,000. So I'm not going to be speaking about us, who is actually the 144,000. I'm going to be in this series of videos. I don't know how many parts this series is going to be, but this is going to be series 1 of this video. I'm going to speak about another army of God, which is known as the heavenly host of the angel, or the angels of Yah, which are also known as the army of Yah. Let's see. Ever since I was in my mother's womb, God always told me about there are 4 groups of angels that He have created. And within these 4 groups of angels, they have their own armies or their own family, as we may call them. The first group of angels I was first introduced in my mother's womb are spirits. The second groups of angels are angels. The third group of angels are cherubims. And the fourth group of angels are Sephims. So within these, all 4 of these group angels are different from each other. They have their own bodily structure or purpose that God used for His divine purpose. Let's see. In this series, I'm going to start with the spirits. Now, a lot of people, when they study and read the Bible, they don't really understand what God is saying when He's speaking about specific angels in the Bible that are actually called spirits. So in the scripture, they are actually called spirits. And in our earthly realm, we call them angels. That's a misinterpretation, because out of ignorance or lack of education or not being taught by God Himself, out of ignorance, most people call these spirits angels, but they are not angels. They are actually spirits. According to biblical teaching, and these spirits are formless. They don't have no specific form. They don't have a head. They don't have a body per se. They don't have no arms. They don't have no legs. They don't have no wings. These spirits are formless. You will hear about these specific spirits in the scripture, especially in the Old Testament, as some passage in the Old Testament describe these beings to be formless. They look like clouds. That's the best way I can describe it. These spiritual beings look exactly like clouds. Just like the clouds in the heavens in our earthly world have no specific form. they have different shapes, different forms. So that just like the clouds in our world look formless. So the same thing with these spiritual beings. They are formless, no specific shape. That's the best way I can explain it. No head, no arms, no legs, no wings. They, they are just formless. So stuff like that. Now, both in the dreams and the vision that Aniyah revealed unto me last night, there's going to be a major warfare between the heavenly world and the demonic world. What I mean, we're going to see both heavenly angels of Yah and demonic beings of Lucifer, Satan, the devil, fighting and battling against each other. In these last days and end time, we're going to actually see these conflict between these different entities fighting and battling over our souls and bodies. So we're going to actually witness these things, see these things with our naked eyes, with our physical eyes. We who are clairvoyants, born with a percentage of psychic ability to see things with our third eyes or our spiritual eye, is called clairvoyance. Some of us see these battles with our spiritual eyes, who have these kind of psychic talents or psychic abilities. But very soon, and I mean very soon, based upon what Aniyah, my God, been sharing unto me, that spiritual battle going to spill over into our natural world, that we're going to actually see these spiritual beings, demonic beings and heavenly beings fighting against each other. Now, there are 4 kinds, what we call angels, but they're actually spiritual beings. There are 4 kinds or 4 groups of spiritual beings. Out of ignorance or mistakenly or lack of education or lack of experience with having a relationship with Aniyah, we say things out of ignorance most of the time and call these 4 spiritual beings angels. They are not really angels. We just call them angels because that's how we look at them. There's only one spiritual being, and these 4 groups are actually called angels. But I'm speaking about that later. But right now, I'll stay on track. These four spiritual beings. The first spiritual being is called spirit. These spiritual beings have no legs, no arms, no wings, no head. It is formless. They look like clouds, which I was speaking of earlier. Then you have the second group of spiritual being. Now, these second group of beings, they are actually called angels, which are messengers from Yah. They have a body, they have an arm, they have a leg, they have a head. Some of these angels have wings, as a lot of these angels don't have no wings, but they have head, body, arms, legs, and stuff like that. Like they look just like us, and we look just like them. The only difference is we are made of the flesh, we are made of dust, the dirt of the ground. They are made of light, the cosmic energy of the heavens. That's the best way I can explain it. Some of them have wings, some of them don't have no wings, but they look like us and we look like them. That's the best way I can explain it. The third spiritual being are cherubians. They have a body, they have head, they have an arm, they have a leg. Some of them have 2 heads, some of them have 4 heads. Some of them have 2 wings, some of them have 4 wings. These are cherubians. But they have an arm, legs, and a body, just like we have arms, legs, and body, and a head. That's the best way I can explain it. There, I'm not gonna go into it. I'm gonna save that later. What their skin texture or their flesh actually look like. I'm gonna save that for later when I speak about them. Then you have a fourth spiritual being called Siphium or Sarphium, or how you pronounce that correctly. The best way I could explain, the best way to describe them, they are fire. They look like fire or made of fire. Their whole being look like fire. They do have a body. They do have an arm. They do have legs. They have wings. Some of them have 2 wings. Some of them have 4 wings. Some of them have 6 wings. But their whole making are made of fire. Another best way I could describe them, they look like dragons or serpents. I don't know too much about the Chinese culture, but they have this thing that in their culture, they have their beings, their spiritual beings look like dragons. So we all know what a dragon look like, with wings and blowing out fire from their mouth. So we all know that. So that's the best way I could describe a Siphium. And then they have another spiritual being that look like a serpent. That serpent don't have no legs, no arms, and if I'm not mistaken, no wings. But so they, in the Chinese culture, they call that spiritual being a serpent, but not a dragon. So they have, according to biblical teaching, and based upon my relationship with Aniyaba teaching me the dark mysteries and the deep secrets of His Word and His heaven, they are both of the same family. One part of the family have arms, legs, bodies, and wings. The other part of the family just have a body, just like a serpent. And some of them may have wings, if I'm not mistaken. And so, cause that's what I see in my dreams and visions. These are heavenly friends of mine. So this is not something I'm just making up. These, the spirits of God, the angels of Yah, the cherubims of Yah, and the Siphims of Yah. These are very close friends of mine. They're just not my guardian angels or whatever you want to call them. These are close friends of mine. These are the ones who teach me how to fight with my hands and feet, to become to be a gifted martial artist. But that's a whole different story. Now, getting back to the spirits that most of us mistakenly call angels. And I'm not saying it's wrong to call these beings angels, but correctly they are actually called spirits. God have specific names for these beings, for each of these beings. Now, getting back to the spirits, this morning in a deep trance, when I was talking to Yah, Aniyah and I, we got into a deep conversation about what this going to look like, how this battle going to be, how your angels going to actually fight against these demons in our world. So God took me into a much deeper trance and a deeper sleep to open up my eyes to see and to give me more understanding. And like I said, this first series is going to speak about the spirits that look like clouds, that are actually formless. Now, through my whole 63 years in my mother's womb, I never saw a spirit in combat or battle against a demonic force. I never seen that. They always come to me to guide me and protect me, to guide me to make sure I make the right decision to go this way or that way, or protect me from harm and danger by guiding me to go to take a different path. but not once in my spiritual walk with Yah I have ever actually seen them go toe to toe with a demonic spirit. So last night and this morning was the first time I actually saw a spirit in conflict with another spirit, which is demonic, what we call fallen angels. And I saw the spirit of Yah as they was battling against each other, like two clouds merging within each other. The spirit of Yah overcame that dark spirit and consume it with some kind of liquid or rainwater, whatever, just like a cloud rain down water. That's how that spirit did, that demonic spirit. First it rained down, in our English language, rainwater upon it to control it, and then his formless body or cloud-shaped body form around that body to consume it and destroy it into nothing. That actually mean took his life, that it was no more, completely destroyed it. In other words, killed it. And so that's the best way I could see it. And it was pretty amazing to me because I never seen that in my whole 63 years serving and worshiping under Yah ever since I was in my mother's womb. And I asked Yah, so like this is how it's going to be with that army, that Pacific Army spiritual being. And Yah said yeah. And then Yah went on and told me how demonic spirits, just like the spirit of Yah, going to attack and possess mankind, and with what I call rainwater in our earthly language, and to paralyze them or have complete control of their body so they cannot move or escape. And then their cloud-like body going to form around that individual to take complete control of that person, body, mind, spirit, and soul. And so I was pretty impressed with that. So that kind of opened up my eyes a little more to see how these spiritual beings actually fight and destroy and possess and influence, not just fight and destroy each other in a spiritual conflict, but how a demonic force will come in and take over a person's body by raining some kind of water or liquid upon them to paralyze that individual or control that individual so he or she cannot escape, and then wrap his formless cloud-like body around that individual to have complete control or possession of that individual. That's the best way I can explain that. You have to see it to get to witness for yourself. That's the best way I can explain it. And then Yah was showing me and telling me last night and this morning, within these last days and end time, this is how these spiritual beings going to conflict or battle or war against each other over our body, soul, spirit, and mind. And so because we are very precious in the eyes of God, for Yah have made us for a specific reason. So they are really fighting to control us and to have us. And so stuff like that. But that's a whole different story. So that's the best way I can explain how the spirit of Yah that look like a cloud have that which is formless, have no head, no arms, no legs, no wings. They just float around or fly around or move around, how you want to call it, just like the clouds in our sky. So that's the best way I can explain it. So this is series 1. So the next series I'm going to speak about the angels, what they look like and how they're going to battle, and so stuff like that. So 20 minutes is up. So I appreciate y'all stopping by to watch and to listen. Y'all have a good and blessed day. Shalom.